Welcome back to the evening edition. This is the I-24 News One-on-One. The United Nations General Assembly has been many world leaders gather in New York for the 68th session over the past week. Joining me tonight to discuss some of the key speeches and events of the Assembly is Ron Adam. Mr. Ron Adam, the Director of the OECD and Multilateral Diplomacy at the Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Good evening, and thank you very much for coming to our studio.
Good evening, you're welcome.
So let's start for maybe people who don't know, what is the UN General Assembly? We've been talking a lot about it for the last few days, and maybe people don't know what it is.
Yes, so it is the parliament of the world, where each country has a vote. This is a unique body, which we don't have a second one, we have just one. And it's a democracy in its best, because the United States, with its power, or India with its population, and China, and Nauru with the 10,000 people, has the same vote in a General Assembly, which is a great idea, and it works very nice. Actually, these gatherings each year begin with 2 weeks or 10 days of what we call general debate, which are the speeches of head of states or head of governments. The speeches which we can relate later on what they are about. But then the General Assembly continues for 2.5 more months. So the known part is the first 10 days, where Netanyahu goes, Ahmadinejad goes in the past, now it's Rouhani, and everything goes on. But most important thing in this gathering are the corridors. These are the most important thing.
Because a lot of people can meet in the corridors,
exactly.
Like we were expecting a meeting between President Barack Obama and Hassan Rouhani, and a lot of people who may not agree or disagree about a lot of things in the daily issues can find themselves passing by.
Exactly, and the mingling and the networking. These are the most significant things that a diplomat or a politician can do in the General Assembly. Of course, he has the speech, which are 10, 15 minutes, but then the rest is more important. The speech itself is also important. This is the belief, what I believe, what my country believes in, what is important for my country. And people who sit there for 10 days can listen to the belief, the plan for next year, the priority of a state. And it's quite interesting, you know, the priorities of the small islands, for example. What are the priorities for the small island? Can you imagine? Like Nauru and Tuvalu and the islands in Caribbean. Their interest is one, is the world, the heating or the climate change. Because in a few years they will vanish. These are the things that they talk about. India talk about other things. We heard just now what they talk about. We, of course, have our agenda. But if you read Brazil's agenda, do you know what Brazil's agenda was this year?
What is Brazil's agenda?
The NSA affair. This was the agenda for this year for the president who spoke in the beginning of the General Assembly. By the way, Brazil is the first to speak before the United States. Why? Because Brazil was the first president of the General Assembly. It was Osvaldo Aranha in 1945-6. So Brazil spoke about the NSA, the how do you say, the whole affair of listening, etc. She thought
the Snowden
president,
affair,
yes, the Snowden affair. She thought it's outrageous, and she attacked Obama practically.
On the stage.
So everyone speaks about its own affairs, its own agenda, and this is what is nice there.
How do you prepare for a speech in the UN Assembly? How do you prepare, like how does Benjamin Netanyahu sit down before he's going and prepare to put his agenda out? Because we saw a lot of coloring, a lot of, the bomb that he took, like the drawings, and are we expected to see any drawings this year?
So, first of all, my best example is the US president.
Okay.
The US president, the way they prepare for his speech is the right way, okay? Which means They gather all ministries, all secretaries, all authorities, governmental authorities together in a process of about 3 months, where each authority and each ministry sends its inputs to the speech. It's very much organized. And then the speech is about everything. It's about the priorities of a country as a whole. But we work differently, I would say. In Israel,
because it seems that in this year's speech, Barack Obama decided to talk about a lot, to put emphasis on the renewal of the peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians.
No, that is what you heard.
Okay.
It was 20 minutes
because it was
speech.
Interesting
exactly.
to me.
It's always what we feel. What we feel is that everyone talks only about us, but everyone speaks about other things. Everyone. And it's true that many heads of states this year, by now, but we have more days to go,
of course,
spoke about Syria, spoke about Iran, even spoke about the Middle East peace process. Many countries, but they also spoke about other things. So the idea is, for example, I wish that we could speak in the General Assembly about our Mashav. You know Mashav? Mashav is the Israeli agency for assistance to the developing countries. This is Mashav. This is what we do nice. This is the nice thing that we do.
And it's very important that the world will hear about it.
Exactly. Look, we do nice films. We have a very good cuisine. We have good chefs. But we also do good things for developing countries. And this is what we need to speak about. I'm not sure that Netanyahu will speak about that.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But I wish that it could have been, and it should be, more organized, the way that we prepare for speeches. I don't criticize anyone, but I wish personally that we can come, as most of the countries, very much prepared, as Germany does, as Norway. You know what Norway speaks about? Norway speaks about the need for the developing countries to get more aid, for refugees in the world to get aid, for to assist the migrants. They deal with the world agenda, which is health, which is education, which is migration, and global warming. These are the things that Israel should also speak about.
And Israel is putting an emphasis on Iran's, Syria, security, basically.
Basically security. Yes, this is the truth.
And this is not actually helping, maybe, to change our image in the world.
Yes. So what happens practically, you're right, but what happens practically is that the Prime Minister speaks about these issues. It's his agenda. It's the main agenda. He finds it the most important agenda. He needs to bring something new tomorrow. Tomorrow, the day after.
The day after tomorrow on Tuesday.
By the way, I have the whole list of speakers here.
Okay.
It's about 150 head of states, head of governments, etc. Here in this list, Israel is last in the last day. But we have 3 more countries. Denmark is after. I can tell you how it works and how the list works, etc. But anyway, Netanyahu will speak about Iran. He needs to surprise. He needs to bring something new, because the opening, the situation for him is difficult, because the last week is over. It's the week where Iran really dominated the whole arena.
The whole assembly, of course.
For sure. And then he needs to bring back everyone.
You're saying that that Israel is one of the last countries that is going to speak in the assembly.
Yes.
So we're actually the cherry on the cream, which means that he needs to actually give a very meaningful and hard speech, and this is why it's so anticipated to hear what he has to say.
I'll tell you why you're very much correct. This is the journal.
Okay.
This is the newsletter that is published every day, every morning, for the diplomats and for the head of states. So here it says what we are forthcoming, what is forthcoming official meetings on Tuesday. So Israel is almost the last, but it says that the only country that says statement by His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister, Minister for Foreign Affairs, and Minister for Public Affairs and Diaspora of the State of Israel. It's a long, long title.
Long title.
But I am sure that everyone is looking forward to hear Netanyahu.
Why do you think that he was after Obama and after Rouhani?
Speaking?
Yes.
I'll tell you, it's very simple. It's very simple. As I said, Brazil is the first, then the United States.
Okay.
And then there is a line of countries that really, it was important for them to be the first. For example, Turkey was the third after these two.
Okay.
And then some countries which was very important for them to speak, like Qatar, in the first day, in the first half day. The list goes with the main criteria is head of states are first, then head of government, then ministers, then only diplomats, and then comes Netanyahu, which is the head of government.
Who decides on the list?
So it is upon your signing in. You can sign in a year before, even if it's important for you. We sign in when?
When?
A few days before.
But
anyways, no. But let me tell you.
Typical Israeli
Yeah,
system.
something like that. No. But let me tell you, Benjamin Netanyahu said that he's coming after Sukkot. It was very clear that we will speak in the second week. But we did have someone. You said that we speak about politics. No, we did speak also about these things that are important for me, that the world can hear, which are the development agenda, the climate change, etc. And the one who spoke about it was Steinitz last week on the 23rd.
It was very important to Benjamin Netanyahu, to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to order his ministers and parliament members from his party to keep silence until he's going on stage and giving his speech, because he doesn't want to make misunderstandings in the meantime, especially after the Rouhani warm welcoming that he got in the UN.
Right, which is good. It makes sense because he doesn't want Israel to be heard in some voices. But he did issue a statement in English after Rouhani's speech. It was very clear. We got a telegram. All diplomats know about this. All ministers know. There is some kind of an order, which is good, because we need to be more organized. And this is an order from the Prime Minister not to speak out of the lines that he ordered. I can read for you, but you know the text.
Yes, of course.
The main thing is that we should continue to persuade the world that the outcome, the reality, the things that we should see from Iran, the measures that are done on the ground. These are the measures that we need to listen and to know.
How effective is the UN Assembly? How effective it is for a country to go on stage and actually talk? And is something is happening after the speech? How big it is, because we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of leaders are talking and speaking and saying their agenda, like you're saying, but how effective really it is?
It is effective, and we should recognize that it is effective. It is effective because most of the countries in the world recognize the UN as an important place, a gathering place, and an important place for networking and for giving their own ideas and agendas. There are rules, the rules of a game. The game is the world, and countries should adhere to the rules. The rules are conventions, are conventions on human rights, on the right of the refugees, the right of the migrants, the right of children, the right of women. There are rules of the game, and the rules of the game are decided in the General Assembly, are decided in the UN. Not only the General Assembly, but also other organizations that are part of the UN family. The UN is the world regulator, the regulator for our daily lives. The regulations are done in the standards, and the rules are made in these organizations of the UN family. The issue of public health, there is the World Health Organization, which is part of the UN. the rules of the communication, as I said, the rules of the treatment toward the refugee and the migrant, and the labor issues, and everything is organized by the UN and its family, the family of organizations. And these are the standards, these are the rules, and everyone sign these rules, sign these conventions, and adhere to them, and have in their country the rules and the, you know. So the world is controlled, is not controlled, but is organized by the UN.
You know, the most unfortunate thing that I heard from you is that we're now talking about something else except Iran, Syria, security. We're not talking about the good things, but it will be maybe for next year. Ron Adam, thank you very much for this very interesting conversation. And thank you, our viewers, for being with us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, same place from the Jaffa Port. Have a great night.